the time this is recording, the second iteration of GrappleQuest is going to be out in about a few hours. And the first one, what was your especially from you ring announcing from the beginning to end? What was it like seeing something that's unique, that is still pro wrestling, but something that's kind of parallel to it with what GrappleQuest is doing?
I am very honored to be a part of history here in Texas.
Right.
It's something that I don't think has ever been done. And, of course, I always credit Biss with being Texas independent wrestling, like our historian. And so when he tells me, something like this has never been done, this is very unique. Like, obviously there are other people that have done it, other promotions outside of Texas. And so it's really cool to be a part of that. And for Borracho and for this to put their flag in so heavily into that Texas independent wrestling earth is just insane. So like, I'm truly honored to be a part of it. I love stuff like this.
That's better. Take two. We'll have a cut on what happened leading up to this.
Yeah.
We were in a nice go-kart area.
Yeah.
And we're here in a conference room. Downgrade.
Yeah.
Here's why. Ricky Meats. I like Ricky Meats better.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So it's funny. Nobody ever remembers the Asada part, so they just call me Ricky Meats because of like all my socials and everything. But like, it's funny. I fight with people about that all the time. I'm okay with it. I'm not, but it's just
it's fully accepted.
Yeah, exactly.
Fully accepted. So we'll carry this on.
Okay.
So we have the bag again. Son of a. This happened on the first take, but what's in the bag?
All right. And like, legitimately, I'm very excited about this. This is very cool. I'm very excited about this. I love Sanrio stuff, so this is legitimately one of my favorite like collabs that they've done.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for this.
No worries. So I have 5 of these, and I'm like, I'll get a separate toy. I'm like, I'll just give this to Ricky.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of the. For it's just a nice little souvenir for this conversation. So
I don't know if I've ever even expressed this online, but yeah, I legitimately love Sanrio stuff. So
there you go.
Love my favorite characters.
The gifts are coming with all the Hello Kitty plushies.
Gladly accept them. I bought a Pom Pom Purin at Five Below the other day. So I mean, like, you can't like my favorite characters are Batsmaru and Batsmaru. I actually really like Cinnamoroll.
Yeah,
Batsmaru and Big Challenges.
Mine is Karakurapi, because that's like my plush for me. Yeah, because I had a plush back when I was a kid and I was playing with it and it's gone. So I was like, there it is. And I was like, I don't know what happened that was at the time. I was like, you know what? It's gone. It's in the ether.
Yeah,
but it's got
lost the time. Yeah,
exactly. No, because like we talked about it in the first take. It's interesting. Like Yu-Gi-Oh's come a long way. Because like and we mentioned on the first take, we were like, yeah, I'm Asian, so it's kind of like a brand at that point. Like, you see me with Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. But I never knew that you were kind of into Yu-Gi-Oh for what, on what level?
So I had just been surrounded by people that played the card game. I wasn't into it. I just like heard what they were talking about, their strategies and everything, and like the different like decks that they would build and everything. I did not watch the show. I did a little, like I definitely saw it. It was on Fox Kids, I think.
Oh, okay.
I definitely saw it, but I just had zero context of what.
But you had like friends who are into these, but you're not at that level of like that level of fandom. I said nerddom. Like, wait, that's the wrong.
It's all relative. Like the most that I know about Yu-Gi-Oh, and I'm not joking when I say this, is me and Hoodfoot screwing around on Twitter, doing the Pot of Greed meme. Yeah, like I summon Pot of Greed. Like that's literally the extent of
exactly. So
like that's the most knowledge I have about Yu-Gi-Oh.
Exactly. We had the Yu-Gi-Oh talk aside, and you're a huge part of here in the wrestling community in Texas, like especially in ring announcing. I think that's where I noticed you, but you did some commentary. But for your ring announcing, like, how is that such an important aspect in a wrestling match, whether it's here or all the way up to the EWs and the WWs in the world?
I think it gives people, it literally introduces the crowd, the live crowd in the world to a person, right? So when they hit the curtain or they come out, that's your first like introduction to them.
Yeah.
Well, even if you've seen them like a million times, right? It's always making a first impression.
Yeah.
And so you are in charge of introducing them to everybody. You need to make their first impression really good because you may create a fan with how you do their intro, right? So it's like, it's always about that person.
Yeah.
Like you have to make them sound like $1 million every single time they hit that curtain. And that's something I really strive to do, honestly. Like I want everyone to feel like this is television every single time. Like they deserve that feeling of like when they were a kid and they were like, I want to be a pro wrestler. Like I feel like everybody that I've encountered, at least like a lot of my friends in this business have been like, at a certain point they were like, man, I want to be a pro wrestler, and like it's just super cool. Like I want to do this. Like I want to give them that feeling every single time they hit the curtain. So like when they hear their music and I get to say their name, I want it to be special for them.
Yeah, because like I'm curious, especially with the different promotions that you're ring announcing. Like we're going to talk about Borracho, we're going to talk about Uncanny, because you've done the events here in Austin. Has there been any differences or similarities with how you ring announce to either of those promotions?
So I feel like my style is kind of the same throughout. I've done some shows where like I just no gimmicks. It's me. I'm doing my thing.
Yeah.
With Borracho, I can really work on being a face for the crowd and like for the company. I mean, they trust me a lot with that, and it's fantastic. Like I absolutely love the Borracho crew. With Uncanny, it's the same thing. Like I represent the company, and I know, also being a queer man on top of that is, important to me, but I know it's important to the crowd as well.
Right.
Just for representation purposes, you know what I mean? Like, we're in a niche spot of like, we're in a very like honed in spot of like, it's in a gay club, right?
Yeah.
But there may be other people that like need that representation and they don't even know it, and then see it like, oh shit, you know what I mean? So I don't carry myself any different. Like, I might like dress a little different or whatever.
Yeah,
but
I know. Yeah, you're right.
Me, right. Like it's always going to be me when I go out there.
Yeah.
I think the only times that I don't really do anything like that, like I worked briefly for Circle 6, and I say briefly because they haven't paid me. But
redacted.
No, I don't care. No, we can tell. Okay. But like, I don't do anything like that. It's not about me, right? It's just, it never is, right? It's never about me. But what I'm saying is that like, I don't do any character work or anything like that. I just am loud and heavy vocals and everything. Like that's just, what I do. So like,
no, and I'm curious with how we talked about it in brief on about it. Like, what was your first time doing ring announcing?
So, I had done a couple of things with heavy metal. So, like 1 week, Josh wasn't there when I was at. It was at the Fortress at Rolling Oaks Mall. Josh wasn't there for whatever reason,
right.
And he did the ring announcing. He just introduced everybody. So, I asked if I could do it for like the main show, and they were like, yeah, sure. And so, yeah, I did that there. It was behind the curtain. We had a really cool, I don't know, I want to call it a retro mic, but it definitely isn't.
Yeah.
The really cool, like, radio mics, you know what I'm talking
Okay.
about? Like, so we had one of those back there. It's
Oh,
incredible.
condensers.
Yeah, like a condenser mic. There you go. Yeah,
condenser.
I couldn't think of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we had a really cool condenser mic, and then they needed somebody for Power Blood for Men Hell Yeah Man Weekend, and so
Yeah.
I did all of Power Blood, which is really cool because I did Warhorse and Jake Something, and
Wow.
like I got to introduce a lot of cool people. Jake Somethings is one of my favorite ones that I did because like he doesn't have anything in his intro. It's just Jake Something, and like at the time he was coming out to As I Lay Dying,
Yeah.
and like it was, man, I was so pumped for that.
So
Just
you're
hearing
hyping
that.
yourself to hype the other
Exactly.
guys.
And when I hit it, like I don't know how it can. I haven't listened to that audio in a really long time. So if somebody goes back to that and hears that audio, I put everything I absolutely could into like saying Jake Something.
Oh my!
That was one of my
you're
favorites, for
expressing at that point.
I was
too.
like, I was like, at that time, I was like, fuck Timbaland Basses. Like, it's about me. I'm doing this. Like, I'm going to be louder than As I Lay Dying right now. So
Yeah.
it's like, no, but like, that was one of my favorite ones I did. Of course, I did Warhorse, and he was at the time, and I don't know what his thing is now because he has a totally different
nihilism. So like,
Yeah, he has the
nihilism.
nihilism thing. So
And then the
like,
first one, he was like basically like, what if Randy Savage was? What if
yeah,
Randy Savage is
like
super-
heavy metal Randy Savage
Exactly.
incarnate, yeah.
Exactly.
But he was 4,000 pounds of pure heavy metal or something like that, right? And then Prince Adam came out after him,
Yeah.
and he was 4,001 pounds of like puro something like really Mexican. He was like, I need this to be really Mexican. I was like, hell yeah, dude! Like he's
just one
he's the
up.
tallest Mexican
One
you've ever seen. But yeah, so that was really cool. Like Power Blood was badass. I wish I could have did all of 440 at the time because they were running roughshod through the indies, and we happened to get them for Power Blood, so that was cool. But yeah, I didn't get to because they did a run in and like I screwed up my whole shit, man. I was gonna
No, 'cause, like,
I did Atticus at the time. I think at the time he was still workshopping the Silvertooth Satan thing.
Yeah.
That was really badass. So I was like, I don't know if I was one of the first ones to do it, but he was still like kind of workshopping it. I was like, hey, fuck it, let's do it. So I don't know.
Exactly.
Like I said, I don't know if it was one of the first times. It was like at the beginning of that, which was really cool.
Were you nervous at the time, or just like, screw it, I'll just go all out?
So I wasn't nervous when I was behind the curtain, right?
Yeah.
But the first time I was in front of people, so it was heavy metal's introduction back to like a live crowd.
Yeah.
Or like I guess like we're just doing heavy metal things at like say for instance like a bar, like we did 502 a lot.
Yeah.
But I guess when we came back to it, we did the heavy metal barbecue,
Yeah.
and it was at the Yard. And the Yard is just going to always be super special to me. I mean, it was one of those things where it's a day that I'm always going to remember because it was my second date with my girlfriend, and she actually she drove down to San Antonio to see me at that show.
She got out of the way to do.
Yeah, she drove all the way down from Dallas to see me, and we, like I said, had our second date ever. It was her birthday. And it was my debut in front of everybody for the promotion, like my favorite promotion. Like,
Yeah.
I was nervous as shit. So I was pacing back and forth. I had knots in my stomach. I was still trying to find my footing in all of this, and I was visibly nervous. And everybody was like, "Hey, man, calm down." Like I remember Rob Love, like King Love, telling me like, "Hey, chill. Like, you're gonna give yourself a heart attack. Relax." So it was really cool, but I was really nervous on top of that, and like to see where United 2.0 is now, and like built from it was just a backyard, to being a pinnacle in Texas wrestling now. It's really, really awesome to see.
It's wild because the stories that Statix had him on before like that ring was on mud. Like, what?
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Yeah,
Like,
it was legitimately like it's the day that it happened. It was a very dreary day. I'm wearing a Carhartt hoodie, and then like it's cold, it's wet. It was just it was a whole thing. So like it was it was just sitting out there in the yard, like in the mud, and they would go out there and train and stuff, and it was just in the elements. I mean, it still is because it's in a backyard, but it doesn't feel like it. It's like. It is, but it isn't. Like there's something special about it, so it's really cool. It's really cool to see like what they're doing and everything.
And over time, how did that voice from the very first nerves that you had, how did that voice shape to where it is now?
It took a lot of introspection, in the sense of like I have been trying to flesh this out for so long, and I am my worst critic. I get in my own head about absolutely everything.
Yeah.
And I put a lot of care and effort into how I look, what I'm doing, how I say what I'm saying. Even if I stumble over my words, I know what I want to say. I'm going to get there.
Yeah.
But I'll like, it'll take me a second, but I'm going to say it. Right.
Yeah.
So if I have something very astute, like when I say wrestling is for everybody, I mean it. Like it's one of those things that like I'm very passionate about. And so like I'm passionate about this. Like it takes effort. You know what I mean? Like like I said, it takes a lot of self-reflection and like therapy. It takes a lot of therapy to get to be as comfortable as I am in my own shoes. And that's the cool thing about it is at the time I wasn't. Right, I wasn't comfortable in my own shoes. I don't even think I was like I definitely wasn't publicly out. Right.
Yeah.
And then once that happened, I kind of just like I said it as a blow off at an Uncanny show, and then nobody knew that I was going to do that. Right.
Oh.
Yeah. So I came out at an Uncanny show in front of everybody, and nobody knew that.
Yeah. What was the reaction? I'm kind of curious. Like,
afterwards, like I got a kind of like a couple of people like, wow.
Oh, they're profound. They're very
Not
profound.
even, like in the sense of like because I said it so sternly.
Yeah.
Everyone was just kind of caught off guard. But like I don't think anybody questioned it, but they were just like, "Whoa!" Like that was a good intro, man.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Actually, Chris Marvel even went out of his way to tell me like, "Hey, man, that was awesome. Like that was really cool. Like that was cool hearing you say that." So like, yeah, that was special to me. But like, yeah, it took a lot of that. Like it really like I said, therapy really helped with trying to be self-reflective in a lot of stuff. So it helped me. You would think that those two don't really exist in the same realm, but for me, it did. Like I just had to figure out what I was going to do with my life, and so every time I go out there, you're seeing another step in the journey of just me. You know what I mean? Like that self-reflection and the introspection of like who I'm trying to be and who I want to be as a person. You know what I mean?
And shifting gears with commentary, something that's from the ring to basically commentating, whether it's on live streaming or in television. How did that dynamic change from doing ring announcing to a lot of the commentary? So I think you did MPX, right? Was that one of your main ones?
So I only did one thing in MPX, but it wasn't for MPX specifically. I actually got to commentate for Demo Diamond's his gender reveal.
Okay.
Which was super cool. I was very excited about that. Yeah. But no, I did that with Plo, and man, Plo is a great person to bounce off of.
Yeah.
Like, I love sitting at the table with Plo and calling a match. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
But no, that was the only thing I did over there. So actually the only commentary other than when I started with heavy metal, the only commentary I get to do now is for WrestleRave.
Okay.
So shout out to WrestleRave coming back actually. I get to do commentary again. Very excited about that. But yeah, like it's not much different other than like I get to talk about what I'm seeing.
Okay.
Yeah,
gotcha,
so like
gotcha.
there again, I don't really think it's too much character work. I think Ricky Asada is just a turn to 11 version of who I am. So like, it's not too far off base, I guess, but it's just really cool. I get to like I do color commentary with Jacob, and Jacob is another one that, man, I owe that dude so much when it comes to commentary, because like I was nervous again doing commentary because like, you know, I was doing it with Beto Baracan at Heavy Metal, and that was somebody, man. He was great to learn from. Like, he just has that radio voice. He did media for so long, and like he's just somebody to learn from. With Jacob, I got to really look at things in a different perspective, and he is just so quippy.
Yeah.
He's so quick, like on his feet when it comes to like what he's calling in the ring and how professionally he's doing it, and like it's nuts. I really do owe him a lot with being in at Wrestle Rave and me getting to bounce jokes off of him, and him just like on the like just at a turn real quick, just
it's just
on
ping pong.
it, man.
It's like ping pong. That's all it is.
It's getting to watch wrestling with your friend.
Yeah.
And like it is an official, like in an official capacity. So like you have to just, I don't know, like it has to be good. I don't know. Like
no, because I think especially in commentary, because I had Eric on before, and I had another guy named Brad Gilmore who's in reality.
Yeah.
As I was thinking about, like, the audience is seeing something on the venue. For the ones who are watching, how is that different than just calling shots or calling spots or what have you? Like, what was that? What do you have to share the story to the ones who are watching on TV?
So for me, I have to treat every show, and I'm sure this is kind of throughout. I don't want this to seem like it's unique to me, but like I have to treat it as, okay, we told the story last show, I need to tell the story this time.
So there's a story.
Exactly. Like if, like, say for instance with Kenny Calypso, he's been trying so hard for so long to go for that Wrestle Rave championship, and just getting shot down in his determination and effort towards going back and doing, like, as the most, like, trying to get the number one contendership, and like, having it cut from under him. Like, there's always stories to be told.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, you want to remind the people at home that, hey, like, there's something going on here. Like, this isn't just a one-off thing. Like, Kenny Calypso has been fighting for this as long as, for the past few shows, and now this is his time to do it. And, you want to, like, build that up. You know what I mean? You can't just from the gate, like, be excited. Like, you have to, like, it's a slow roll. You know what I mean? There's always that peak right where they start, like, now they're trying to beat each other. So they're hitting finishers on each other. They're trying to end this match. Like, you got to build to that. They're building that match. You got to do the exact same.
Yeah, because it's interesting. I was thinking about that too, because like everything has its pacing. Because if it's too fast, the viewer will be like, "What just happened?" They're like,
There's times where, like, I don't fault commentary that has to always say something, because I get it, right? There may be somebody not actually, like, has the stream on, but they're not, like, watching actively. They might be doing something. They might be hanging out with their kids, and so they have to kind of do something. They might be eating and not paying attention right away. So sometimes you have to kind of you have to paint the picture, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I do feel like there's times where you have to let the match breathe, because there's a big kick out, and he kicked out at 2.9, and there's like a reaction from that person. You need to, like, let that breathe for a good 5 seconds, and it doesn't feel like a long time, but it's an eternity. Sometimes, you know what I mean? Because there's so much emotion in a match, you need to let that breathe,
right?
And then you put the exclamation point on it by saying, they're trying their hardest to end this match for this reason, whatever the case is. So, like, and it's on a match by match basis, but like, like, you need to be the one that tells that story. Yeah. So it's, I mean, like, you want to be able to, I guess, paint the picture, but you don't want to take away from the match. Right. Again, this is all about them. You need to tell their story so they look better, because eventually somebody's going to, like, screen record that and put that on YouTube for their match. Like, they might they might workshop this to somebody else and be like, "Hey, can you check out my match? I really would like to, like, get your opinion about this." Yeah. Or they might use that in a highlight reel for, like, to work at another promotion, or that that one match might be seen by somebody like fucking Danielson
Yeah.
who saw BK matches on YouTube. Like
that's what I was thinking.
yeah, like it's you never know who's going to be listening to your to your match or watching your match. So bad commentary can kill a match for somebody, even though they're having an amazing match in the ring. You go back and you watch a match that like, oh man, this commentary.
It's like
sucks.
painting.
Like,
It's almost like painting a pollock without even noticing it, because you're like, I'm making this picture. By the time you look at it, it's like, oh my.
yeah, and so like it might be somebody's make or break. You know, you never know. So the stakes are always there when it comes to trying to make somebody look good. You want to do your damnedest to do that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like I said, you never know who's going to watch that. It may be some AEW exec, it might be some WWE exec, or you know somebody from the Performance Center, somebody from TNA. We had a lot of people come in from TNA over at Wrestle Rave. You know, Jacob jokes that Wrestle Rave is just TNA South. So like because we broke so many people from TNA.
You blew my mind again.
Yeah, right. Now you look back and think of it like, damn it, yeah. And I swear he said that on commentary sometime. I don't know where he did, but he definitely did. But yeah, like it's you never know who's going to be watching.
Yeah.
Right. So, and you know, of course, even the super indies like Deadlock or West Coast Pro or you know somebody like big freelance is another one. Like you never know who's going to be watching those matches.
Yeah.
So you want to also have very good commentary for them, so you're telling their story adequately. You know,
And its presentation is part of it, because even though like it's still a match, every single intricate detail counts. Because yeah, one little misstep, and then I wouldn't say it won't crumble into dust. There would just be cracks within that presentation.
The other thing is like, because you talk about a mistake, like you know, even say for instance somebody like messes something up in the ring, they literally have a misstep. They might fall off the rope or something, or like they just something happens. As a commentator, it's your job to not call attention. Like say for everybody calls it a botch, it's your job to not really call attention to the fact that they messed up. Spin it into something like, these competitors are tired. They're giving everything they have in this ring right now.
Yeah.
You know, like mistakes happen sometimes. You may get in your own head. Like it's your job to make those things. Like yeah, you can call attention to it in the sense of like yeah, they're tired. They're beating the shit out of each other. Like you need to make it. You need to spin it in a good way. I think one of the people that's very good about that is Excalibur. I know a lot of people don't really like his commentary, and I never understand why. But yeah, he's very good at that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need to to put it in perspective. Again, somebody might see that later, and you don't want to like bury the person for it. Just say like they are tired, because
unintentionally you'd be like, oh my gosh, what? You know, like,
most of the time these people are thinking about everything that they're gonna do in their head. Like, why would you want to put that in a negative light?
Exactly.
So, you know, like it's kind of throughout. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to mess up, and sometimes I will, and I'll call attention.
We're human. I mean,
yeah, exactly. It happens, but like, yeah, you want to be able to, you know, take the good with the bad, I guess.
Exactly.
Kind of, so
yeah, and we're gonna move a couple more steps too. By the time this is recording, the second iteration of GrappleQuest is gonna be out in about a few hours. And the first one, what was especially from you ring announcing, from the beginning to end, what was it like seeing something that's unique, that is still pro wrestling, but something that's kind of parallel to it with what GrappleQuest is doing?
I am very honored to be a part of history here in Texas. Like, it's something that I don't think has ever been done. And, you know, of course, I always credit Biss with being Texas independent wrestling, like our historian. And so when he tells me, yeah, something like this has never been done, this is very unique. Like, obviously there are other people that have done it, other promotions outside of Texas. And I mean, we did have Bloodsport here in Collective in Dallas. I don't necessarily know if that counts, because like we haven't had a Texas-based promotion do it. And so it's really cool to be a part of that. And for Borracho and for this to put their flag in so heavily into that Texas independent wrestling earth is just insane. So like I'm truly honored to be a part of it. I love stuff like this.
Yeah.
That, is very out of the box. Like we don't really think sometimes we just go to a wrestling show thinking, oh, it's just going to be a ring and there's going to be people in it and then they're going to finish and then they're going to leave and then somebody else is going to come out and they're going to be in that ring. I like the idea of you don't know where this is going to go.
No, exactly. That was the exact philosophy when I was watching it from the seats. I'm like, wow, like there's no spots. It was just straight round.
It's the presentation is all there too. Like, everybody gets their really badass moment. Like I cannot stress this enough. Erica Torres has my full undivided attention when it comes to just being a wrestler in general. She's been doing this for a while, but also like she came out like such a badass. Like she was ready to kill. It was so goddamn cool.
Background in I think one of the either jiu-jitsu or like MMA.
She is like a like MMA like grappler and like she's a fighter. She really is, and it's so cool to see that thing click. Because like if you know Erica Torres, she's super sweet, but it's so cool to see that thing just all of a sudden like she is like murderous when she came out with like it's nothing like it. So like it's seeing everybody come out for like it's just unique. Like it was so cool. So like the fans really wanted GrappleQuest too.
Oh, I fanboyed and I'm like, geez, it's nothing I've seen. It's ironic. NXT Battleground is almost at that same panel, which is like, as I saw that either pay-per-view or the taping, I'm like, this is like GrappleQuest. Okay, I guess someone must have caught it. Like, hey, we'll try this.
And so, like, GrappleQuest 1 happened around the same time as that.
Yeah.
But, and of course, Bloodsport already happened. Like, Bloodsport was already a thing, right?
Yeah.
So, I won't take away from that. This is awesome, right? Even going back further with WWE, they had Raw Underground.
Yeah.
Like, it was supposed to be, I don't remember if it's a second or third hour. I think it was the third hour of Raw. They were trying to do something different. It was like stepping in the war zone, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Like Raw's War. So, like, it was something different for the third hour. That shit was cool. It was cool as hell.
It's weird.
Like,
showed up after that. I think it may be creative. That kind of said
they did it for like because it was supposed to be Shane McMahon doing it like on his own. He was like running an underground promotion within WWE or something like that. I thought it was cool as shit. They should have like kept the dancers, the Raw Underground dancers that they had, for, like the first episode of the second one. Like I don't know why they got rid of them. What the hell was that about? That was awesome.
Yeah.
Like no, it was cool as hell. So like to get to see something like that and be a part of it is even cooler. Like I think what we have here is very unique. And I wouldn't even compare it to that in a Broadway or like maybe in a Broadway, right? Like like it is sort of like that, but also we are doing something here at Borracho with our presentation and how we like in our presentation, like, it's something that you are drawn to. It's very unique. Because anybody can have like a wrestling promotion, but it's just like sometimes it's just like, oh, they're just putting on matches. Here at Borracho, they really care about how they are presenting these matches, and so it's really cool to see. Like I thoroughly enjoy working here
with the second one that's coming out, and you don't have to go all out. What is everyone expecting with the second GrappleQuest that's coming out?
It's funny. I don't know anything. So when we come in, so when we come in, no, it's funny. When we come in, or like when I get here, that's when I find stuff out. That's like even matches sometimes. Like,
but even without these matches, what are the expectations coming into that?
Everybody wants the same thing, in the sense of, they want everybody to be thoroughly entertained, right? And so we have a great group here, like the roster, the people we bring in and stuff. And I say we, I'm not a great collective of this. Yeah, as a collective. Yeah, as a collective we, because I work here, but I love this place. I really do. but like Borracho really does a great job of getting a roster that understands that.
Yeah.
And so the expectation every time they come out of that curtain is like, I'm good. I'm doing it for the love of the game.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to see that and be a part of it, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of the I guess that's the expectation of
Yeah,
it,
exactly.
right?
So
Yeah.
I think Bradley's like kind of pacing. I'm like, I think we're short on time. But thank you so much, Ricky, for having you
of
on.
course.
And I do end our conversation. This is the same question that I pose with every guest that I have, and you answered it. And this one, the last time, if I saw the recording, I'm like that, and I was looking through it, and I'm like, dang, that's a deep answer. But I'll try it again. But I'll do a different twist on it.
Yeah, no.
So if you were in the same room as an adolescent Ricky Asada, and I mentioned adolescence is between 10 and 19. If you can choose that age and talk to that Ricky Asada, what would you like to talk to him about?
So the first time, and it's still emotional for me to think about my past, man. It's not like I had a bad past, right? Like, yeah, I'm a kid of divorce and everything, but a lot of people were, you know what I mean? And it's not unique to me, but like, I was my own worst enemy growing up. And so if I had the opportunity to look back at myself and have one conversation with myself, it would be keep going, keep doing the shit, because like anything that you think that you're going through right now, yeah, sometimes it gets pretty damn bad, but it's not the worst thing that will ever happen to you.
Right.
And like you are the problem. Right, like you are creating all these things for yourself. Be easier on yourself. Like take time to not stop hurting yourself. Stop stop creating the roadblock to your success and to what you want to do. I don't think I would change too much about it, because then like all those mistakes got me to where I am
Think
now.
Back to the Future. That's always been a common trend with the answers, but I wanted to show that anyways, because it's Back to the Future. You never know when even this one bottle moved illusion room. There's a bottle right
here. Yeah, my Yeti's over here.
That flow is different. I digress.
Yeah.
But otherwise, and it's one of those things where like there were answers that are like, wow, okay, that one was one of the most profound ones, especially because especially you brought up therapy, and that's like a lot of that kind of got you over that hump of doing that.
And it's not like I'm definitely not cured, right? But I have a lot more ways of coping with it in a positive sense. Of like I've had a history of fighting myself. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of doing that.
You can do so much.
Exactly. I need to lean into making things better for myself, and so that was kind of the big thing. And like that's the first thing I would tell my younger self, like, hey, stop being so damn hard on yourself. Like, yes, things kind of suck, but you're also kind of like creating those problems, man. Like,
exactly.
Like, put the bottle down every so often.
Yeah.
Like, get your head out of your ass. Like, stop being so damn stubborn. Like, that would be the first thing I would tell myself, because like it's difficult. Like,
exactly.
Sometimes being that person that like you're being your own worst enemy, it's awful. Like, it sucks. You're always hindering your own progress. Like, I want to be better. I want to be, and that's how I try to be now. I try to make the young version of me proud.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why it's always forward progress with everything. So, but I have nothing left to give. You have the floor. Where can we find you? Because people are rushing and shuffling. I'm like, this is a sign.
This is our locker room. So yeah, of course, there's always going to be people in here. So you can find me at all my social media. Ricky is, or see, now I got it backwards. Ricky Meets at Twitter and Instagram. I'm sure there's other ones too, like Blue Sky or whatever.
Somewhere over there.
But yeah, Ricky Meets online. I also am in a cookbook. Eating the Indies. That was really cool. Shout out to Haley and them for putting that out. It was fantastic, and it was a really cool opportunity. I'm a chef in my shoot job, so it was really cool. I can like kind of hang my hat on that. Like, yeah, I'm in a cookbook. It's really dope. It wasn't like incredibly
feather in the cap.
Right? Yeah, that's right. Yeah. it's not an incredibly difficult recipe, but it was something that was kind of out of the box that I was like, oh, somebody's gonna see this and be like, a wing sauce, like a michelada wing sauce. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I've done some cool stuff. So yeah, just check me out on social media. You can see where I'm at. Like I'm a mainstay here at Borracho Pro now. At Uncanny, I've done ring announcing and commentary, and so of course, like I said, shout out to Russell Ray for coming back and having to weather a lot of the things that they have been. It's nothing but love.
Yeah.
Absolutely love those guys. So that's all I've got.
Awesome. But we'll end our conversation here on the PGTK podcast. And as always, thank you so much for listening and watching, and on to the next one. Bye.